Life is good here on October 14th, 2025. I just talked about Mario's games. I got that discussion about Mario Kart World ready to release. Things can't be any better. Well, that's rather inconvenient. How long is this gonna last? Well, that's a lot more inconvenient.
Welcome, time member.
I think the name you're looking for is AtomicQuince. I've never been called Med.
You have been summoned here to atone for your crimes of messing with the sacred timeline.
Okay, I'll admit it. I changed the Austrian state treaty to rebuild the Austro-Hungarian Empire as the Kingdom Land.
What? No, I don't care about that. I'm talking about you killing your previous self and changing your original Mario Kart Wii rankings.
Oh, come on, there's no way doing all that changed the future. I bet no one even saw that video.
Well, as a result of your recklessness, you've altered the future in which a nuclear war occurred between the United States and South Macedonia.
Oh, well, that doesn't sound so bad.
Oh yeah, and you're Argentinian now.
What?!
The only way to reverse back to the original timeline is to rank every Mario Kart DS track again. You have 19 minutes to complete your task, or else your timeline will continue to spiral down a much darker path.
Well, you heard it here first, folks. I'm ranking every Mario Kart DS track from worst to best again. I'm ranking them based off difficulty, layout, and music, as I usually do, and they'll be ranked on a tier list. But another thing that I thought would be neat is that on the ranking board, I'll also place where I placed them in my original video back from like 4 years ago. Also, these are my opinions, so if you disagree, I don't really care. Now let's stop me from becoming Argentinian, because I don't really want to be that. Yeah, this one's no surprise. GCN Baby Park is the worst example of
There's nothing. Thank you, son.
It's just a circle. But whereas in other Mario Kart games this track is seen as fun because of the intensity of having multiple racers or wacky atoms, here, it just sucks. I do like Baby Park's music, but it's still not as great as the original or an 8. Wow, there really is nothing to say about it. You drive in a basic 8, there's no shortcut, you drive straight for like half of it. The best thing that I can say about it is that when I finished first, I like the versus winning music. Also, since this was my first time playing DS in a while, this track really helped me familiarize myself with the controls. However, if they were to ever bring this track back somehow, I did talk about making it better, so Nintendo, you out there? Oh yeah, I'm in a void. Wow, again?
There's nothing.
It's actually surprising how much I don't really like this track. It's going above Figure 8 Circuit due to it being the first ever Mario Kart track, so at least it has a bit of history. Because besides that, music is bad, the beginning has a straight road, and I guess at the very least it has pipes, which I did end up running into, so I guess they did their job. Well, this is disappointing. I'll admit I liked it more than SNES Mario Circuit 1, but still. I enjoyed the music, the layout is fine, way better than the tracks below it. And I do like how saturated the background is compared to the rest of the retro tracks on this list, but there's literally just
nothing.
Holy fuck.
Not even pipes. So I have no choice but to put it into the F tier.
Actually, there's Owen's trees right there, idiot.
I'm putting SNES Choco Island 2 at the top of F tier because even though I still don't like it, it at least has things to not make it boring. It's more of a this track genuinely sucks rather than an empty track with straight paths. But still, I thought my mind would have changed about Choco Island 2, but no, I still really hate the mud, and the bumps that are normally supposed to be small boosts are instead obstacles that you're supposed to avoid. I hate this track so much, and the only reason why it's not in last is because at least it makes me feel something. Another one that disappoints. GCN Luigi Circuit is one of the few tracks that I could see benefit if it had more racers, but when there's only 8, nothing happens. You barely see them when you're driving backwards. There's a chain chomp who barely does anything. I'm sorry, but it's going at the bottom of D. It saves itself from F because it at least has potential, but it's a basic circuit track, it won't make it far. I mean, at first I was having a good time slipping and sliding on the dirt road. It made me feel like that one scene from Cars 2. And the music was charming, but by the second lap I was already getting bored. But I won't give it F because at least it gave me the illusion of having a fun time. Also, I don't think I noticed a single cow. Finally, a SNES track that doesn't end with 1. In my opinion, Koopa Beach 2 just feels like the definition of meh. I'm not gonna place it in F because it has things like puddles you can drown in and fish. I also like the music, but I think it's the Mario Kart track I have the least to say about. The only thing saving Yoshi Falls from falling into F is that there's stuff on the track, unlike Figure 8 Circuit. There's boost panels and waterfalls. The music is pretty boring, but since it's a beginner course, I'll cut it some slack. Also, the layout is shaped like a chicken nugget, and I like chicken nuggets. Entering C tier, which contains the most tracks with 10 of them. But the worst of the tier goes to Cheap Cheap Beach. When I was younger, I always wanted to go inside of the beach houses on the pier. This track reminded me that you can't trick like in the newer games. After going off reps, I instinctively pressed the jump button and I would still get some airtime. Overall, there's not much I would say, but I wasn't too bored, so C. Frappe Snowland, huh? I like the snowy atmosphere, and I always like the ending section where you're surrounded by walls of snow. I also like the exploding snowman from DK Pass and the Snow Mario, but this is another retro track where I don't have much to say about it. But I like snow more than the beach, so I guess I can put it up Cheap Cheap Beach. I feel like if DS's retro tracks didn't always have to start with SNES and end with GCN, Banshee Boardwalk would have been the better track to end the Lightning Cup with than Yoshi Circuit. Anyways, this track is decent. I enjoy the haunted boardwalk aesthetic, and even though it isn't the first, nor the best, nor the last, people don't usually talk about it. But that changes today, with yours truly finally giving his opinion on Banshee Boardwalk. It's fine. I'm sorry, but I don't think I could ever truly like Tick-Tock Clock, or at least the DS version. I could definitely respect the hell out of the 8 remake with its stunning visuals. It's probably one of my favorite looking tracks in the base game, but here in the DS version, not really. Sure, it takes some elements from Super Mario 64 level of the same name, but besides the swinging pendulums and the yellow caged flooring, this track just looks ugly as hell. I don't normally do pluses or minuses of tiers, but if I did, I guess Tick-Tock Clock would round off the last of the C tiers. I'm sorry, but I will just never like this track. More like a Choco Mount ain't. Get it? Because it's more like a valley? This track is fine, I guess. Although I forgot how boring it was. I guess it might just be Choco Mountain fatigue. Also, I forgot this track had falling rocks until I got hit by one on the last lap and lost the race. But overall, it's definitely iconic, but not much else. I'll admit it, out of all the tracks that have nothing in them, SNES Donut Plains 1 is one of the better ones. I know it's basic, but I kinda just used it to practice my drifting abilities. And I don't know, I think I just kinda have a SNES Ghost Valley 2 relationship with this track. Where it's boring, sure, but it's also full of enough turns and short enough where it makes me want to speedrun it and finish the track in under a minute. So because of this, I'm not going to place it in the Fs like the other empty tracks, and place it in C. My justification? What do you mean it's empty? There's a lake right there. I forgot that DK Pass was also in Mario Kart World, and there it's considered good because of all the parkour you can do on the track, but you can't really do any of that here. And for that, I think it's worse than both of its remakes. But the secret item box is nice and always worth getting. Also, I always loved DK Pass's music. And the cozy cabin sounding violin and jingle bells. You know, now that I think about it, this song kinda sounds like Switzerland. And I love the Swiss with their cheese and the mountains and... wait. Oh! This track, though lovely, just reminds me of Shroom Ridge without the cars, so it's being placed below it. I like the cheery music, but we've heard it before with Luigi Circuit. And even though this is a way better truck, it doesn't really do much besides be a cute reference to Yoshi by being shaped after him. It also should not have been the last track of the game, so I think it takes points off for being an underwhelming ending to the game. Shroom Ridge! Sure, I'll admit it, I got hit by the cars more times than I'd like, but oh well. The music is good, and I'm really struggling to find things to say about this track, but trust me, it's good, I swear. I know this one gets a bad rep because of World, but let me tell you how solid this track is. Is it a desert track? Yes. Is it pretty boring? Kinda. But I feel like World ruined this track so much that coming back to this version, I just think it's pretty neat. Also, I didn't record any of my footage of playing these tracks since I have no idea how to record 3DS software. But I had this sick moment where I used the mushroom to go over one of the desert hills, something I didn't even know you could do before playing this. If this track had more things to do, then maybe I would have placed this track in B, but for now, it earns its place at the top of C. The Better Peach Circuit. Who knew all you had to do to make your track good is to add stuff? And even if it's minor things like slippery puddles or rain. Also, the background is cool with the Luigi blimp and warehouses. This track has tons of potential to take place in an insane storm outbreak. Maybe in a future remake this track could add a tornado. But I think the reason I like this track is because it looks like Luigi. And hey, I like Luigi. Mario Circuit. I remember having great memories with you in 8 Deluxe. And coming back here, it's about what I expected. A basic circuit track and nothing else. But I do like the music. Technically, Figure 8 Circuit also shares this music, but whatever. It feels a little weird to nav the forest, but I still really like this track and how it looks. Although I feel bad for hating on Peach Gardens more than I did. Now, it's still not one of my favorite tracks, that's why it's only in the B tier. But still, I enjoyed playing on this track a fair bit. And I did kind of miss its original design. Don't get me wrong, I love what they did with 8, but there's something charming about being surrounded by green hedges. Also, I prefer this part over 8 Deluxe's where you can go down the middle. And the guard dogs, though useless, are quite charming. And also, even though I never went down the right path, I just like having the option. Another solidly good track. Mushroom Bridge is the most average track I've played so far, which is surprising because it doesn't do anything to offend me, which, why would it? It's a Mario Kart track, not a racist cartoon. But it also doesn't do anything to stand out. Also, they do make this version worse than in Double Dash by removing the ability to go on the sides of the bridge, which I don't know why they even did that, but whatever. Also, the fact that it's the most average Mario Kart track and it's in the top 10 kinda makes you think about how bad most of these tracks are. Or at least how mid they are. I thought I'd like this track more than I thought, and I liked it, but while playing it, I thought the corridors at the beginning were a little too narrow, even for 8 players. Even when I was front running, I found myself hitting the walls. Maybe I just suck at drifting or something. But still, I enjoyed the music, the atmosphere, the bridge, the funny shortcuts, so I'll put it in F tier. But it only makes me wonder where I placed it in the original video.
DS Delfino Square, one of the better Mario Kart DS tracks.
This might be my most controversial opinion yet, but I really enjoyed GBA Bowser Castle 2. Yeah, I said it, I enjoyed Bowser Castle 2 more than Delfino Square. What are you gonna do about it? I'm in a void. Even though you can't trick, hitting the jump button after going off a ramp makes you get insane airtime. Is it kinda hard to navigate through and make it random as to where you'll land? Yes. That's the fun of the track. I landed in the lava more times than I'd like to admit, but I didn't get frustrated. I enjoyed the risk of playing the track. Also, Super Circuit's rendition of Bowser's Castles has one of the better Bowser Castle songs. I like the guitar. And that one scene that kinda reminds me of the Fairly Odd Parents. You know the scene. It's surprising how well the Super Circuit courses have been. Besides Peach Circuit, the rest of the GBA retros are placed in B or higher. And that includes the best retro track, Sky Garden. I thought I wouldn't like this one as much as I did because it's Sky Garden. Sky Garden this, Sky Garden that. But no, I like the music, the turquoise flooring as opposed to the awful 8 Deluxe red. Also, the shortcuts are neat. Overall, I really enjoyed this one and it deserves its place as the best Mario Kart DS retro track. Also, I don't know if I forgot to mention, but we're in the A tiers. My bad. Now we're on to one of the most intimidating Mario Kart tracks, Airship Fortress. Great track. Glad it's been brought back. I love dodging the bullet bills at the start of the race. Love the Monty wrenches that occasionally appear. And being inside the airship is so cool. I love how this track takes place in the middle of a war during sunset, or at least that's what I interpreted. And I love the aura that comes out when you're being shot out of a cannon. But I will say the ending's kind of mediocre with the tower and you're just drifting, so not much happens. But yeah, overall, good track. What do I say that hasn't already been said? It's Waluigi Pinball. Everything is perfect. The idea of driving in a pinball machine, the fact that the pinball aesthetic is attached to one of the slimiest characters in Mario, the music, though shared with Wario Stadium, I feel it fits here better. And the sound effects are nice too, especially at the end when you hear the noises. Everything is perfect. A tier. I like Waluigi Pinball, and at one point it was my favorite Mario Kart DS track. But the problem with Waluigi Pinball is that it's too perfect. Call me one of those girls who only date flawed and bad boys, but I just can't have Waluigi Pinball as my favorite. I'm not like other people, and as much as I really like Waluigi Pinball, that's about it. I wouldn't say it's a favorite of mine, but it's still a really good track. I really forgot how fun this track was. Besides the tight corridors at the beginning, this track was really enjoyable. I even enjoyed the mud section more than I remembered. This track does suffer that since it's a Mushroom Cup track, it has to be simpler and shorter, but if it wasn't, then this track could have easily made it to the S tier. And as much as I like the mud section, I do wish we spent a little more time in the mansion itself, but overall, I can see why many people enjoy this track and I hope it gets brought back soon. If not, just the mansion aesthetic to come back. Not like... And we've entered the S tier. Funnily enough, the rest of these tracks are from the Special Cup, and the bronze finalist goes to the DS rendition of Bowser's Castle. This is one of my favorite Bowser castles of all time. I love the intense music, the definitively shorter path, the ending with the moving platforms, the spinny pole where if you fall you look like an idiot and have to take the longer path. I really love that you have to be good at the game to win, which to be fair that's every track, but here it really puts everything you've learned to the test, which is something that all Bowser's castles should be. This is the second to last track in Mario Kart DS's Nitro selection. And if any Bowser's castle were to be remade, this track should be the #1 priority. Because what else are they gonna add? Bowser Factory? I know that this Rainbow Road is probably less popular than Wii or Double Dash is, so it isn't recognized as much. But I don't care, this is one of the better Rainbow Roads and a definitive S tier in this ranking. Sure, it copies some elements from Mario Kart Double Dash with the beginning loop, but I just love how innovative it was for the time by adding a loop-to-loop and a corkscrew. They've never done anything like this, and I can respect that. Nowadays, anti-gravity kinda makes this track less special, but for the time, this would have been revolutionary. But what do I know, I wasn't there. The music is also really good, but it's a Rainbow Road. Having good music is a right, not a privilege. And as much as I like this track, it's not the best. That would go to our #1 slot, which is... Whereas I put Bowser's Castle in S tier for the intensity and putting everything you've learned from playing the game to that point, I put Wario Stadium in S for the opposite reason. Oh my god, I'm having fun? Wario Stadium is my favorite track in Mario Kart DS. Even though you can't do tricks, like GBA Bowser's Castle 2, I like tracks that have boost panels that launch you in the air and drop you off in completely random spots. It's also kinda why I like Desert Hills and Luigi's Mansion as much as I did. Hitting the jump button after going off a ramp makes you go soaring in the air. Kinda like if I was in one of those extreme sports. Is it kinda hard to navigate through and make it random as to where you'll land? Yes. So I guess I could be a hypocrite for putting Choco Island 2 an F, while this track gets an S for the exact same reason. But I don't care. Wario Stadium's ramps are just so much fun to go off of, so it's earned that top spot of this ranking. In my opinion, I feel like thinking about playing Mario Kart DS is much worse than actually playing it. I put off making this remake for almost 4 years now because I just didn't want to play the game, and why would I? If I started playing it, I would just think about how I could be playing Wii or Deluxe and just go ahead and play those games instead. But now that I'm in this void with nothing except Mario Kart DS, coming back to this game, I forgot how much fun it was. Now yes, the course selection is not the best. Most of these tracks are basic road or inoffensive race tracks, but tracks that were highlights were really good. Waluigi Pinball or Airship Fortress are obvious examples, but I really enjoyed Luigi's Mansion and Wario Stadium the most. And obviously this game has my favorite rendition of Bowser's Castle. So in the past, I saw this game as a decent but underwhelming Mario Kart game that was heavily tied to nostalgia. But now, after this entire journey, well, yes, I still think it's mostly the nostalgia, but I wouldn't call this game underwhelming anymore. More like above average. You guys hear that? Times are changing! I fixed the timeline! Wait, this is in my office? And is that me again?
Mario Kart 7. One of the most forgettable Mario Karts.
No.
Well, it's
No, it can't
in
be.
between one of the...
You thought you were done? Go, you stupid idiot. How aliens invaded the planet and infiltrated the rest of the world.
Huh? That's not so bad.
Except Argentina, of course.
No. No! No!